Hey, so at what point do you pause and determine how to move forward in life with the knowledge of the human in you will be finite? And you put so much information in, or data at a larger scale, that it just becomes to a point where it just goes like this. Yeah. So that's where this current, and this is not enhanced self. So this is the current self. And the current self, after a large impact of substances that was too much, too many times, to a point where it was just like the body went, "Are you fucking kidding me? He's doing it again." But did the body really say that? Not at the time. But what happens is there is a diminishing return on the input of a foreign substance within the container, which humans call the body. So, hello, I'm in yellow today. So that was a choice. That was an active choice. That was a choice of free will. When I saw yellow, I'm like, hey, I haven't really worn yellow in a while. And so through the last, we'll say 3 years, we go, hey man, did you know that color has meaning? Of course it does. Everything has meaning to the human that has human experiences, because everything is cumulative and everything can in fact have meaning to every individual entity on Earth. So, over the last collection of 5 years, why do you keep saying 5 years? Well, 5 years ago, prior to that, asking myself big questions. And the biggest question of all humanity, it's the one unanswered question is, now that humans know that they are birthed into this realm, they are birthed into this phase. How do we know this? Because that's the perception of most humans. And by most, I mean 99% plus believe they were birthed in. Now, there are occasional outliers that say, well, we weren't birthed. There is no birth. There is no death. It's all one. And those are the nods, and we know that. Okay, so the majority of people, humans, believe there's a birth and a death. And then from that, what do? Well, hopefully exactly, what do? Well, there's phases within that. And so we had this moment. So if you're out of a rhythm, if you're out of your routine, what happens could potentially go, all right, why am I thinking big thoughts? Well, it could be that you're ingesting a chemical that changes the chemistry within your mind, within your thoughts, which then recalibrates it to a point where you're like, well, isn't this interesting? Hence, that's what happened to this unit. And this unit started asking big questions. Well, what if this? What if that? And when you're under the influence of another chemical, whether it's coffee, whether it's chocolate, whether it's cannabis, whether it's whatever you want to ingest, you can think and align differently. So this unit goes out and is asking me questions. And it's just like, hey, man, what happens after your biological death? But humans don't say biological death. They just say, hey, man, what happens after you die? Some say, hey, JC. JC's going to say, hey, I'm going to die for your sins. You're going to go to this magical place. You're going to be there for eternity. And it's all wonderful. Some people believe that. A lot of people believe that. The Buddha goes, hey, man, go in, go within. What do you think? That's where the nods come up. They're like, no birth, no death. Everything is suffering, but it's not suffering. It's an illusion. Is that what the Buddha said? I'm not sure. So, where do I lie? So, I go out and this run 5 years ago, May 27, 2017. And I'm looking out there and I'm like, what in the world am I looking at? It's totally a different reality. It was a different, just outside what I have ever experienced as any awake human. So when you're awake, sleep, wake, you wake up and you're like, And there's a continuous story. The birth, how old are you? 60? Wait, he can't be 60. He's 60. He's 60. Time's in play. So if time's in play, there's a chronological, what's the perfect word? So when I watch this back, it'll be like chronological. So that's the other thing about technology. You get to watch something at a later date, and you can either go, hey, this is what I was thinking at the time, but how would anyone else know that? Yeah. Not yet. So anyways, so a chronological marker, that's not really the word I'm looking for, but I want to continue my thought, is that we lost the thought. You see? And so, as a human, what do? And what is the struggle of your alignment? My alignment is, hey, if you have an overall structure and then can work within that structure to a place where you are getting balance, and then you go, you're like, what was that? Well, then you're in flow, then you're in alignment, then you're at plateaued, then you're proceeding in a way that is lighter, that you're open, and that you're not closed on anything. Closed, you're like, oh, I can't bring anything else in. There's too much stuff. In essence, there's a plane going by, and you're like, where is that plane? The plane. I think that that if in fact you can put yourself into different segments of time in which you then, if then you have the end game, the bio exit, and work yourself backwards. This is going backwards. And then you're like, okay, there it is. And you go forward. You really are saying the same thing a lot. Why wouldn't you? Because at some point, if you can just go, okay, I've put as much stuff as possible within this noggin, and that's it. That's all I can do. And then you're like, well, really? Is that all you can do? And then you're like, yeah, actually, if you've zoomed out far enough at a higher state, at an enhanced state, you would think that at some point you go, you know what? Can I just release, surrender, and get to a point where I open the window again and go, okay, can we just go and do? So when you be, that means you're in it. You're just released. You're being. That is the core. Whereas doing is like, okay, let's put a box around it. Let's figure out what we're going to do. Why are you doing it? And then work the plan. So it is, what is the box? What is the plan? Why are you doing it? And then just do. Do? No. You want to be by doing. Is that right? That is current self's perception of what should be